One of the most ridiculous halachas for Hanukkah is in Kavva in Zokaklo, that if the Hanukkah candle goes out, you don't have to relight it. And this would be that you have enough oil and it's not in a windy place, but if it goes out, then you don't have to relight it. Now, the whole point of the mitzvah is pursuing Nisa, so that everyone can see the light. You're bringing the light to the world, show everybody the light, and then it goes out. You don't have to relight it. Why not? And this is in the first 30 minutes. I mean, the whole point is to be pursuing Nisa, to show everyone what happened. The fight of Hanukkah was between the Chitzoni, the Das Chitzoni, the Yavanim, the Greeks were happy with people learning. They just didn't want people to learn something that goes beyond Seichel. And that they have the learning of the secular versus the learning of the Torah. So one of the key lessons is the difference between Torah and secular subjects, and therefore in Kavsa in Zokaklo, that if the light goes out, it doesn't matter. This is showing that if you're learning the secular subjects, if you get it wrong, so therefore the bridge falls down. You can't maths, if you say that maths is racist and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, then you have to have the correct kavana. You have to have everything correct. Otherwise, you can't. It's wrong. If you're a doctor and you don't know where the diaphragm is, or you don't know where the appendix is, so therefore the person's going to suffer, and you are not going to be successful. However, with Torah, the remez of in Kaf Chazokah, if the light goes out, even if you didn't kaven ala emes, and therefore the light's gone out, your whole job was to light the candle, and you got it wrong. That since your kavanah was l'shem shemayim, it's all good. So that even if you don't have kavanah for the emes, that you didn't reach the emes, that God still gets the joy and the pleasure from the pilpul, from the working through of the ideas and the subjects and the Torah, working it through and trying to get your seichel in there, since you're doing it for what does God want. And even if you get it wrong, there's still the joy and the pleasure in that, of bringing down God's chacham. So obviously it's better to get it right and I'll be halacha. However, if you are l'shem shemayim and working at it, Kuroi, fittingly, so even if it doesn't come down, it's okay, because if the light goes out, it's okay. That's not the point. Again, the point of it is not to become the expert in halacha. That could be the goal. But if you toil in Torah and you're not the expert in halacha, or even an expert in anything in Torah, that it's okay. And that it's your effort and what you put in that's important. So after the Chanukah story, which is the battle between the Chachma Chitzoni of science and secular subjects versus the Chachma of Torah, it was Mar be machloket in Israel, so that you have the time of the Gemara and the time all the way up to the Mishnah, that we now have tons of machlokesim, and then in the Gemara we have tons of machlokesim to show that everyone's, why is everyone arguing about this? I mean, there's no 1 + 1 = 2. There's no machlokes. Why is everyone arguing about everything in the Torah? Because it's not about coming out with one. There's not one thing that, according to one person, this is kosher, and the next person, this is treif. So their halachas are completely opposite, and therefore, according to this person, this guy is not al pi halacha, and vice versa. But that's okay, because that's what Torah is. It's not about being correct. There's Torah even without hitting the bullseye. That's what Torah is, and being upset with machlokesim. So it shows the complete misunderstanding of Torah. So you have the Baal Tshuva, who is trained in the Chacham Chitzoni of the secular ideas, and therefore he comes into a world of machlokas. He comes into a world which he doesn't understand, and then is bothered by the fact that this machlokas. Why don't we know? That's the victory of Yavan, to ask that question. Therefore, the answer would be, since we have to light the candles, if the candle goes out, you have to relight it. So you take the lesson of in Kafel Zachaklo, that Ein Zachaklo, that even if it goes out, you don't have to relight it. Because the machlokas is not about that. It's not just one way to do everything. And it's the Isaac and Torah that gives God the joy. If you want to be a complete idiot and get everything wrong because you're just lazy, or just because you're not trying, and you want to bring people away, or you're bakavana changing the halacha, so that's problematic. But that's the ikar of Torah, is not coming out, passing your exams, and that you can build bridges even without being qualified. That the Isaac and Torah itself is the qualification. Now, the question can be asked, so why are the machlokesim? Why is there not just one? So the machlokesim are all giving, it's not right or wrong, they're all giving different perspectives. In the world of Torah, all the perspectives are true, the Shivim Panim the Torah, and they all come out as true. In the Chachmas Chitzoni, it's not 1 plus 1 equals 2. You can, whatever answers you have, if you're trying to build a bridge and you're using other things, the way it will fail. So why does it not fail as well in the Torah realm? Well, since the Torah comes beyond physicality, and therefore physicality is not a constraint on the Torah. So if there's no room in the Aron, you have all the measurements of the Kodesh Kedoshim, and there's no room for the Aron. And yes, the Aron can fit in there because there's no constraints on the Torah. So therefore, you can make a bridge out of prayers and rocks, and it'll work because it's coming from the Torah. Therefore, the physicality is not a constraint on the Torah. Therefore, you can have all the machlokesim and they're all true. Whereas it doesn't work in the Chachmas Chatzoni. In the realms of Torah, it is, and therefore coming from the outside and then not understanding what you're looking at. So it's like, oh, boo-hoo, why is there machlokas?